Greetings, friends. This is Stan Houston for Interesting Ideas, and welcome once again to Friday flowing into the weekend. And of course, on this particular occasion, almost every Friday, almost every weekend, we have what we call the Transformation Project. That's right, the Transformation Project. And it is for you so that you perhaps can be transformed. And in being transformed, you might even be responsible, maybe liable in some cases, but hopefully rewarded and thoroughly, thoroughly appreciated because you made a difference. You did something that was transforming, and the world is a better place because you are here. So it's the Transformation Project and you, because this is a program which I produce. And when I produce a program, it's always for you and about you and hopefully helpful to you. And obviously, we hope that you will tell us how we are doing from time to time and perhaps even be a part of the program. We'd really appreciate that. And of course, tell us how we can be helpful and useful to you, because that's the deal. Interesting ideas. It's about ideas so that you can have a greater insight into the way the world is working, greater influence in your work, business, and career. Make an impact, because impact drives income. And income, of course, is nice, but income is not just the nice money stuff. It is much, much more and many more important things than that can come into your life. And that's what we want to have happen. Now, today, I'm going to have some fun because I'm going to show my age. And the subject is this: fascination. Fascinating. And that's one of the steps, one of the 10 steps that might be a part of the ladder of transformation, fascination. And I show my age again by showing that I'm going to do a little excerpt, a montage of Star Trek stuff, STS, Star Trek stuff. And it is one of my favorite characters, of course, Spock. And his most favorite word, it seems, was you. Yeah, most of you know. Well, let's take a little look at a montage of some of the scenes from Star Trek in the Blast from the Past, and obviously you'll find out which word we are talking about. Let's go. Boldly go where we haven't gone before. The transformation path is leading us on the Starship Enterprise. We're off at warp speed.
Well, fascinating is a word I use for the unexpected. Fascinating. 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 Fascinating, Captain. Fascinating. 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 A most fascinating thing happened. Fascinating. Fascinating. But it would be a fascinating project. Fascinating. 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 But quite impossible. Fascinating. Fascinating. Fascinating material. Fascinating. 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 Fascinating.
You are a disembodied brain.
Fascinating. Fascinating. A fascinating cultural development. This is fascinating. 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 Fascinating.
Fascinating.
Fascinating. Fascinating. Fascinating. Fascinating. Fascinating. Fascinating. Fascinating. Fascinating. Fascinating. Fascinating. Fascinating.
Please, Spock, do me a favor. And don't say it's fascinating.
No. But it is interesting.
Well, there we go. And of course, those of you who are listening on the radio, you just heard that. However, those, of course, who are enduring my face on the video were able to see them. But since you weren't able to see them, in the show notes, I have the link, the YouTube link to that montage of Mr. Spock and his fascinating stories. And you can, afterwards, you can take time to look at that. Hope that was fun. Well, here's the point. And obviously, I think you begin to see the point. Some part of our life has to hopefully encounter, from time to time, things that will lead to a transformation. Now, of course, Joe Pine, and whom I'm working with now, he is writing the book on the transformation, and I'm putting together the podcast on the transformation project. And what he does, see, he has these pieces of paper that he puts out from his Substack account. Well, it's blinking around here, okay. And he recently did one on the catalysts. That is, the things that catalysts start a transformation. And he has a number of words, and they all start with D. And you can probably guess what some of them are. Well, it could be a disturbance or a deviation, all kinds of D words, but you'll have to go to his Substack account to find out all four of them. But in effect, what causes a transformation in our life? Well, a lot of things. And I remember it well. I was going through a diagnosis of a particular condition, and they weren't sure what it was. And I had an appointment to see the doctor, and I just happened to be making my way from Arizona to a presentation I was giving back in what was my home state before, in Minnesota. And I was giving a presentation to a large group of people in the insurance business. And I had scheduled it so that the very next day I would see my doctor and we would talk about what was going on. And so I was backstage getting ready to, do my deal. I kind of, get ready, put my makeup on and all of that type of stuff, get my show face on and, do all those things that you should do if you're going to do a big presentation. All of a sudden, I heard my cell phone begin to buzz, and it was about 5 minutes, and I picked it out and saw it was from my doctor. So okay. So I walked back, make sure I was out of the way, and answered the phone. And he said, "Stan, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow." I said, "Well, I'm glad you're looking forward to it. I'm not, but what's going on?" And he said, "Stan, the test came back. Stan, you have cancer." Wow. And in 3 minutes, I was going on stage. Do you know how scary that word is? I thought that if I ever heard the C word pronounced on me, well, that was many years ago. And we kept it in control, and then it flared back up. And thank goodness, thank God, thank Dr. Jenny, thank Jesus, I'm now 5.5 years cancer free. But who knows what might be? But of course, that transformed a lot of things about me and my view of life and how I live. Those are the events. Now, what we discover, though, is that the people who are most conducive to and the ones who will have an experience of transformation that they can even create and perhaps enjoy and perhaps bring to others are people who find things fascinating. They have an incredible sense of curiosity, that their first response is not to judge it good or bad. It's just fascinating. It's something I don't have an explanation for yet. It's something I don't fully understand yet. It's not something I'm ready to accept yet. All I want us to do is to think about, as we go forward this weekend, start being Spock all the time. Start looking for things where you could just simply say, fascinating, fascinating. Or sing that old song by Nat King Cole, it was fascination. I know it was. A lot of the transformations that come to us, as Joe talks about, come through, very disturbing events. We all know stories of, yeah, he smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day, but now he doesn't smoke any. How did that happen? Those kind of events that take place in our life that change us profoundly for the good things that might happen, help us prepare perhaps for some of the more difficult things that will happen. And at the same time, see if we can look for that proverbial silver lining. I remember one of my clients said to me one time, he just came back from the Mayo Clinic, and we had met, and he sat down before we began our coaching session. He said, Stan, my good Catholic mother, who had 7 children, always told her children that you can find good in everything. And then he turned to me and said, Stan, coach, I just got this diagnosis at the Mayo, and your job is to help me find the silver lining there. And I think we did. And he's doing okay. I wouldn't say he's doing well, but he's doing okay. And life has been good. There we go. That's the deal for today. I simply encourage you to join with Mr. Spock and become a Trekkie. And as you go trekking through life, you are looking for those things that you can say, fascinating, fascinating, fascinating. That's it for today. By the way, Joe Pine may join us next week. Again, go to his Substack account. Okay, go to Substack and look for Joseph Pine, or maybe B. Joseph Pine, and Joe Pine, and look for the Transformation book and start reading it and subscribing to it so you can keep up with it. And you can start to be transformed and perhaps lead a transforming life. All the best and blessings to you. Always close with a benediction, which simply means good words, good speak. That's what it is. Benediction may be a blessing, but it just simply means bena, good diction, good speaking. And of course, you know that Mr. Spock was known for that. He oftentimes said, live long and prosper. And that, my friends, is indeed a fascinating benediction. Bye for now. Peace to you.